and he just makes everyone around him better.
Not to sell Brant short, what will he add to what your offense can do with both of them back?
Brant is a great weapon for Cam. In my estimation, one of the top 2 or 3 pass-catching tight ends in the country, and big play guy. So we hope he makes some big plays tonight.
Thanks for the time.
You got it. Thank you.
Today marks 606 days since Cam Rising was last on the field for Utah. It's been more than 700 days since Brant Kuithe has played a game for the Utes. These Utah fans glad to see 7 and 80 back on the field tonight. Utah won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so the Utes will kick it away. Braden Whistler and Devin Perkins back to receive. We are underway in Salt Lake City on a beautiful Thursday night. Temperatures in the upper 70s, low humidity. A little bit of smoke from the pregame fireworks hanging over the stadium as Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds, make their way onto the field for the first time tonight. Jackson Berry getting his first career start. The redshirt junior from Prosper, Texas, appeared in 5 games, 6 feet, 200 pounds, and he has been a different player for Southern Utah since this past December. We'll tell you more about that story in just a moment. Braden Whistler is in the backfield alongside Berry. And Berry's going to keep it, gets to the outside and gets across the 30-yard line for a gain of 6. He's dropped by Alakai Gilman.
That's big for this offense because they're moving the ball on a really veteran defensive line of the Utah Utes. This is where the game is going to be won, in the line of scrimmage, in the trenches. If that offensive line can hold up just a little bit, they may be able to move the ball a little bit and keep this game within reach.
Did you see that? That was a huddle.
Right.
A huddle for we're going to see a lot of huddles for these two teams tonight. Both of them okay with playing at a little bit slower pace. On the ground, this is Whistler. Not much room.
You know, speaking of
third down.
Speaking of huddle, I mean, we're looking at a Utah team entering into the Big 12. I want to, Coach Whittingham change his philosophy a little bit, with the way offense is in the Big 12. But does he stay status quo while building in the trenches with that offensive line, better offensive line, and better defensive line?
3rd and 4 for Southern Utah. Going to take it across the 35. A stout rushing defense a year ago for the Utes. Just over 80 yards a game, what they allowed on the ground. Berry from the gun. He's got time, gets out of the pocket. He's going to get a first down and more, and will go out of bounds or slide down just across the 40-yard line.
They come out in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. And on this play, they go man-to-man on the outside. So when you go man-to-man on the outside, you got these guys following inside, which allows them then, the quarterback then, to run a little bit because nobody's looking at him.
Delane Fitzgerald is the head coach at Southern Utah. He told us about Jackson Berry. He has earned the right to start this game based on merit, but you wouldn't have known it. He did basically nothing for the last 2 years in our program. Very, very candid. He said, but since December, he has had an amazing work ethic. He has been a leader on this team, and he has earned the right to play in this game. Berry lets this one fly incomplete, out of bounds.
Yeah, he come out in a bunch formation, and they're going to have to do this. They're going to have to move the pocket a little bit. They come out with a sprint to the right side, try to move the pocket a little bit so you can get away from that defensive line. But, hey, you look at the defense, great coverage on that, and they couldn't get anybody open on it.
Delane Fitzgerald in his 3rd year. You see the 11-11 record. 6-5 last year. It was the first winning record at Southern Utah since 2017. Delane Fitzgerald has had some tough jobs. He was at Southern Virginia and also Frostburg State in the state of Virginia.
Frostburg, that sounds scary.
He's got the reputation of a program builder. And a timeout on the field.
First charge, timeout of the half. Southern Utah.
Southern Utah has converted for a first down. They've got a second down play when we come back to Salt Lake City.
Since my Citi Custom Cash Card automatically adjusts to earn me more cash back in my...
They started playing football at Southern Utah back in 1963 as an NAIA member. First season as a 1AA team at the time was in 1993. Of course, now part of the FCS. 4 conference championships and 3 trips to the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, Coach Fitzgerald wants to make sure he keeps this game within reach, run the ball, keep the clock moving, so they don't look like those giants we spoke of earlier. They're human. They bleed just like they do. So they're going to have to make sure they stay consistent and pick at them and keep the game manageable.
New running back into the game for the Thunderbirds, Targhee Lamson, the senior from Spanish Fork, Utah. And he splits out as they go empty with Jackson Berry in the shotgun. Berry wants to throw, lofts it down the sideline. Pretty good coverage one-on-one. That was Samaya Vaughn, step for step with Mark Bales.
Yeah, they came out man-to-man against that 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. And if you watch, defensive coach Scally made sure that those guys had somebody over the top. So man-free, pretty good coverage. Coach Scally said that he has some confidence in those guys on the outside, more so this year, going man-to-man a lot more.
Rice-Eccles Stadium coming to life on this 3rd and 10 for Southern Utah. Defense trying to get off the field and get Cam Rising in the offense the ball for the first time tonight. Berry hit as he throws, but it's complete. Out of the backfield, Lamson. He gains 9, a yard short of midfield, and the first decision to be made of the night by Delane Fitzgerald.
Yeah, to get him outside the pocket, able to get to the running back. But at least they can flip the field on him. This is field position if they choose to punt the ball. Maybe pin the Utes down, offense down around the 5.
The initial spot looked like the 49. Ultimately, they set the ball down at the 48. And so Southern Utah is going to punt. Rayshawn Glover back to receive on the punt. Let's see, Barrett, if they can do what you were just talking about. Fair catch called for at the 9-yard line. And so good execution there by Southern Utah in the kicking game.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always doing that, just flip the field on them.
Listen as this crowd grows in volume as number 7 comes onto the field for the first time. CCR in the background. Bad Moon Rising, Cam Rising. 6'2", 220, just shy of 5,600 career yards. 605 days. This is number 606.
Wow.
Since he was last on the field. It was in the Rose Bowl. Tore every ligament you could tear in the knee. There was thought that he might come back a year ago. He did not. He wants to throw on first down. Lofts it over the middle, incomplete.
Great pass rush move on the outside on the right tackle. Spin move inside, making Cam move his feet a little bit in the pocket. He had a wide open receiver going down the hashes.
Mike Mitchell, the running back. Kyle Whittingham has been open about the fact that there is not a clear 1A running back on this team. He thinks it's kind of a tier system. You're going to see 3 running backs from Utah in this game. Got a pop pass trying to get it to the outside. That's Dijon Stanley that came across the formation and got the carry for a gain of 6.
It's a little bit of respect for this defense. They're able to get up the field, get a little penetration on the pop pass going to the outside to the right. Sometimes, you got to move around a little bit, a little deception. And they were able to get to the outside, at least get a 3rd and manageable.
Kyle Whittingham in his 20th year as the head coach. He is the 2nd longest tenured head coach in all of college football. Micah Bernard and Dijon Stanley both in the backfield, flanking Rising. Rising dumps it off. Pass is complete. That's Money Parks on the reception. Gain of 5 and a first down.
I can see Money Parks being a very, very influential guy in this offense. The speed that he has going down the field, able to stretch the field. Here he has a little crossing pattern across the field, makes the catch, keeps the chains moving. But, it's very important for them to have 21 personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end.
Mekhi Bernard back in the ball game. He's to the left of Rising in the backfield. Parks in motion again. Rising. He's going to tuck and run. Everybody holds their breath, and he steps out of bounds after a gain of 10.
Yeah, Richard, that was a part of his game before he tore everything up in his knee. And I wanted to see if he still had the speed that he displayed when he was playing over 600 days ago, and it looks like he still has it.
He's got that brace on the left knee, and his coaching staff has had a lot of conversations, heart-to-hearts, if you will, with Cam Rising about not taking hits when you don't have to. You don't have to lose your edge as a player, but you also don't have to be the tough guy all the time.
That's tough.
Rising, incomplete, little contact there. That one was intended for Micah Bernard.
Yeah, they may have got away with it. They got a little way with a little yank there, but you know, if you look at it, this team, this Southern Utah team is gaining a little confidence, being able to stick up with this Utah team. This is a Utah team that's, you know, a lot of people saying they might win the Big 12.
Bernard stays in the ball game. Bottom of your screen, Dorian Singer, the Southern Cal transfer, but it's on the ground across the 35. Let's go downstairs and check in with Marilyn Payne for a little more on Cam Rising. Third down here for Utah. 3rd and 6 for the Utes, trying to convert. Dijon Stanley is coming to the game as the running back. Tight formation, multiple tight ends on the field. Stanley, wheel route out of the backfield. He's wide open, makes the catch at the 40, 20, 10, touchdown Utes. Flag comes in at the end, maybe a little excessive on the celebration, but a touchdown on the board for number 12, Utah.
Great way they broke this down. They caught him in man-to-man. Linebacker against the running back, and a linebacker gets caught up in the receiver's route, and the speed this guy possesses, it's instant touchdoown because you have to get out there.
Result of the play was a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23. That foul will be enforced on the kickoff. That's number 23's first unsportsmanlike of the game.
Henry Johns, our referee tonight.
Rich, you can't play around when you have a guy man-to-man like that. You got to get out there on him, especially when you have the speed that these guys possess at the running back position. If you have a man, get out there on him. It doesn't matter if he knows it or not.
Dijon Stanley with his first touchdown as a Ute. He had 3 catches for 21 yards a season ago. That was a 64-yard touchdown reception. Extra point is good. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. A 7-play, 90-yard scoring drive took 2 minutes, 56 seconds. Utah, Cam Rising, Dijon Stanley, 7.
Would be emotional tonight, and this stadium would be for Cam. Rising himself said pregame that he did not expect to feel any emotions, even running out of the tunnel. He said, I'm just so excited to be back on the field. It's football. I want to play. And he showed it on this first drive here tonight, getting in the end zone to kick off his season back with the Utes.
Marilyn, thanks a lot. Cam Rising was open about the fact that he was looking forward to getting hit or pushed or bumped or something to just kind of get the juices flowing and let the nervousness go. I bet hitting that wheel route in stride helped him get in the flow also.
He's definitely ready to rock and roll at this point.
Return here by Braden Whistler. And remember the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, so that kickoff came from the 20. Good field position. Moroni and I on the tackle on the kickoff return. So second possession now for Southern Utah. Did some good things, primarily with the feet of Jackson Berry on that opening drive.
They must establish the run. You know, if they can be more physical than this defensive line of Utah, that's when things start to open up as far as the offense being able to spread it around a little bit.
Targi Lamson, he is the back behind Barry, set up in the pistol. Nunez was the motion man. This is Lamson to the outside. That's good enough for a first down out across the 45-yard line.
Yeah, we're on the outside. Tight end was able to hold up on the block at the point of attack right on the outside. He's able to turn the corner. And when you can turn the corner like that, it opens up a lot, because now you got that tight end, that defensive end looking like, all right, I can't just rush. I got to make sure that I stay at home, get up the field, and close the edge off. Kind of slows down that pass rush a little bit.
They had 12 on the carry for Lamson. Had a big game Lamson did last year against Utah Tech, a rival for Southern Utah. 138 yards. It's Lamson again, and he's wrestled down as he goes across midfield.
You know, as an ex-offensive lineman, you know, you want to see that up front. The double teams up front, get them moving, pushing them off the ball. That's a great run. A 3-yard run is a great run when you're an offensive lineman trying to get the best of that defense.
You might have shorted him a yard. He got 4.
Oh, yeah, he got 4.
Give that man his yard.
Right. You see the defensive line, they're starting to, look at each other now like, come on, guys, let's go.
57 there in the middle. Keanu Tanuvasal made the tackle on that last run. Barry going to keep it. Gave a little look to the outside, just a hesitation. Goes forward for 5 on the quarterback draw.
That is beautiful. It's a QB trap. You set up, let the tackle go, trap him, and right up the middle with the quarterback.
Junior Tafuna, the team captain, one of the 4 team captains with the stop. 3rd down and 2 coming for Southern Utah. Remember, they had it 4th and 2 at midfield and chose to punt on their last possession. Might this be 2-down territory if necessary? Jackson Berry. Flags come in. Four of them.
They want to make sure you knew.
False start. Offense. Number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's the center, Edward Riley, in the middle of that offensive line. If the center moves, everybody sees it.
Right. As an offensive lineman, I've had my fair share of those when they actually threw the flag at me. But you can't hurt yourself like that. Control the intangible. You know the snap count. You cannot make mistakes like that and expect to stay ahead of the chains.
3rd down and 7 from midfield for Southern Utah. Time to throw, and it's complete across the 40. Mark Bales, the senior from Rahway, New Jersey, makes the catch for the first down.
Great pass protection. You able to step up, and this is a blitz also. They brought the Sam from outside and the Mike from inside, and they couldn't get there. That offensive line stood up to it and able to get the pass out to the outside. That's a huge, huge advantage for this Southern Utah team if they can hold up like that.
Kenneth Johnson made the tackle, the 6th-year football player, first 5 seasons at Georgia Tech. Jefferson, the new running back in the game, and he is met and dropped by Lander Barton.
They're at the point of attack. They got penetration. They stopped them up front. And once they get that penetration, it's hard for you to run around those guys. Penetration kills all run plays.
Lander Barton, a guy who had his season cut short because of injury a year ago, a foot injury in the game against Southern Cal, had 9 tackles in the game when his day and his season were done. He's part of a long lineage of Utah athletes. Pressure, Complete to the tight end. Not a whole lot there.
There you see the pressure from the outside, getting up the field, stopping that play. They're really trying to collapse the pocket from the outside and bring in pressure from the outside, knowing that they're trying to boot the protection. So they're trying to boot it, but once you get up the field like that, it stops the quarterback from going outside. It's a great play on the outside when you can cover that.
Joshua Acord on the catch, but a loss of a yard. 3rd down and 11. Southern Utah 2 of 3 on 3rd down so far tonight. Berry from the gun. Pressure coming, dumps it off, sets up the screen, but good coverage behind that pass rush. Completed it to Jordan Jefferson for a short gain. Zamiah Vaughn on the tackle.
That's what you want to do. You want to counter that pass rush and get up the field by throwing screen plays, throwing behind the defense. You let them get up the field, pass rush, think they got there, and throw in behind them. But they had great coverage on the outside. Linebackers were able to buzz out and really make the play on it man-to-man.
There is an injured Utah player. That's Kenan Johnson, who is down. We'll check in on him when we can. Kenan Johnson, the super senior transfer from Georgia Tech, helped into the medical tent. Let's go downstairs and check in with Marilyn Payne.
He was helped to the injury tent with no weight whatsoever being placed on his left leg or foot. They're examining that leg or ankle right now, and I'll have more when I can get it to you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Not good at all for this Utah team.
Not good at all.
Snake bit by injury a year ago. You said that to me during the break. It's like they can't catch a break.
I know. I mean, and when we talk about quality players, he was one of the guys they were saying that looking forward to him having a great year.
Yep.
And he was integral in their defense on how they stop and run man-to-man coverage.
So back to the football action. 4th down, and Southern Utah leaves the offense on the field. 4th and 8 for the Thunderbirds. Berry with time. Now he's hit and escapes. Dives forward across the 35 down to the 33, but that's short of the 1st down. Southern Utah turns it over on downs, and the Utes offense makes its way back onto the field.
Great pass rush up front, especially by Kinu. Swims, but at the end of the day, it's like they punted. So I guess that's why they thought that it would be in great interest to them to go ahead and just run the play.
It was Keanu Tanuvasal that had the pressure that caused Berry to have to try and escape the pocket. Cam Rising back into the ball game. Under center this time for the first time. Play action, looking down the middle of the field. He's got a man, it's caught. That's Dorian Singer. Started his college career at Arizona, transferred to USC. Now he is in Salt Lake City, and his first catch as a Ute is a gain of 17.
A nice little crossing route, a deep crossing route. Had time to throw the ball on this play. And when you look at this offense, they're a running team. They want to run the ball, but they've been throwing a lot this first quarter.
Rising once again under center with Mekhi Bernard. The back set behind him. That's Keithy that goes in motion from right to left. It's Bernard on the carry, and he bowls his way down to the 43-yard line. Connor Cullimore on the tackle, gain of 7.
Here you go, 13 personnel, 3 tight ends, 1 running back. Bring Keithy in motion. He cuts off the backside and just run straight zone play to the right. Your big guys on their big guys to see who can push somebody back.
This offensive line for Utah coming into tonight had combined to play in 209 games with 60 starts.
Tremendous experience.
Rising, nearly picked off. That one was through the hands, tipped at the line maybe by Walker Harris.
That comes from pressure from the outside. Swim move inside, beat him. on the play. I mean, it's quick.
See Harris shaking his head, the senior from Summerfield, North Carolina, transfer from Sioux Falls. Utah with its third down of the game. They're 2 for 2 so far. On the ground, it's Bernard, and he's going to be close. Marked about a yard short of the first down. 4th and 1 coming up for this Utah offense.
Starting to get a little penetration up front by this defensive line.
1 minute left in the first quarter. Utah offense stays on the field. They have got a ton of depth at tight end. You would expect a heavy package here as they break the huddle. Mike Mitchell into the game at tailback. He gets the handoff and has enough for the first down, keeping the drive alive.
Rich almost shed a tear. All that beef on offensive line going across, and we're just going to let our big guys beat up your little guys up front. Come off the ball. We're not even trying to fake it. Just hand it off and just run for the first down.
Says the former offensive lineman from Kansas State with 12 years in the NFL and a Super Bowl ring with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mitchell stays in the game as the tailback. Bernard, Glover, and Mitchell, the 3 primary tailbacks we're going to see. On the ground again, and Mitchell with a cutback. Ball comes out. He's able to recover his own fumble, though. And should have enough for the first down as the first quarter comes to an end. Utah struck first in this ball game. Cam Rising and his return. First game back in 605 days. Connected earlier with Dijon Stanley for a 64-yard touchdown on a wheel route. 7-0. Utes in front after 1. To start the season. Utes recovered the fumble after the ball came out of Mike Mitchell's hands, but they marked it short of the first down. So 2nd down and 1. Caleb Lohner, the tight end, in motion. Play action from Rising. Looking down the field. He takes a shot toward the end zone. Incomplete. Overthrew his intended receiver, Dorian Singer. In between quarters, Maryland Payne caught up with Kyle Whittingham.
The ball hit the ground there for your offense. How do you want to see them respond on this next snap?
Well, we got to get the ball in the end zone again. It's only our 2nd possession, so we're 1 for 1, but need to put the ball in the end zone here. And with this new first down rule and the clock running, possessions are more valuable than ever because there's probably going to be 1 or 2 less possessions per team because of that rule.
What do they have to do to capitalize on possessions?
Big plays, chunk yardage. Some chunk yardage.
Thanks.
Okay.
They've already got one of those big plays, the 64-yard touchdown pass. Have they got another one? Yes, they do. Welcome back, Brant Kuithe. Touchdown, Utes.
Great play design.
29 yards on the pitch and catch. 2nd touchdown pass of the night for Cam Rising. And that is career touchdown number 17 for Kuithe, now in his 7th year in college football.
You watch that play. It was 13 personnel. 3 tight ends to the right side. Snuck out Kuithe on a delayed release. Touchdown.
How about Mike Mitchell selling that play action, going airborne into the line of scrimmage? Extra point is good, and Utah is in front, 14-0.
Great play design. So attention to detail was there. You know, you could tell that they sat in the room and said, all right, 12% block down. Turn around, delay release, Kuithe takes it up, and by that time, the safety sees him, and he's already gone. Touchdown, right up the seam.
Kyle Whittingham mentioned chunk plays. That's the 2nd of the night. Both of them have resulted in touchdowns. The 64-yard pass to Dijon Stanley, and a 29-yard strike to Brant Kuithe. 8 plays, 67 yards, took 3 minutes and a second. And with that touchdown pass, Cameron Rising just past Alex Smith And he is in 5th place all by himself in terms of career touchdown passes.
That is saying a lot.
Pretty special moment coming up at halftime tonight for Alex Smith. He will be the first inductee into the Ring of Honor here at the University of Utah. Big hit at the sideline. Nate Ritchie with the hit, knocking Jordan Jefferson end over end out of bounds.
They are still in this right now. Southern Utah are still in this game. They got to stay disciplined, continue to move the ball, and control the clock when they have it.
Braden Whistler back into the game as the tailback to the right of Jackson Berry. Coach Delane Fitzgerald at Southern Utah told us that we would see 2 quarterbacks in this game, but so far it's been Jackson Berry. And Southern Utah has to burn a timeout before the first
Second
down
charge.
play.
Timeout of the half.
With the break on
Southern
the
Utah.
field, we'll take one as
Immediate
well.
timeout.
Second timeout for the Thunderbirds in this first half. And check in with Maryland for an injury update.
Senior cornerback Kenan Johnson just left the field on crutches after spending time in the injury tent and being so loudly emotional in that tent that even 5 yards away you could hear him yelling and crying. Really heartbreaking injury. He left with a brace on his left knee. Behind him is freshman Cameron Calhoun at cornerback now.
Thanks, Maryland. That's a tough scene to watch for Kenan Johnson. The Georgia Tech transfer playing in his 6th year of college football. Not much on first down there for Braden Whistler. Junior Tafuna on the tackle.
They're running inside zone on this play, and on the backside, you got to leave 1, and they left 2 instead of 1. You can't do that. You got to make sure that you at least leave somebody back there to cut off if you're going to run a wind back type of play, inside zone type of play.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10 here for Southern Utah. They moved the ball on their first 2 drives, punted from midfield and then turned it over on downs. This one batted at the line of scrimmage. Aliki Vimahi bats it down at the line.
Get up the field. If you can't get there personally, you just got to get your hands up, bat it down.
Vimahi and Fillinger both creating pressure there. See the defensive numbers for the Utes a year ago with Morgan Scalley, who back on July 1st was named the head coach in waiting here at the University of Utah. He is an alum, one of 5 former Utes on this Utah coaching staff. Chase Merrill went in motion. Berry with time. Now the time runs out. And he falls forward back to the 20-yard line. That time it was Logan Fauno with the pressure.
You know, he had good pass protection to start off, but you can't expect those guys to hold on forever. They step back, snap it. They got time. Get the ball out of your hands. You can't hold it when you have defensive linemen, especially as big as these guys are in Utah.
Some of that's coverage downfield, though, right?
Absolutely.
Rayshawn Glover back to receive the punt from Elias Vigil. And Vigil hits this one off the side of his foot, and it goes out of bounds. Not the punt, not the field flip that Southern Utah was looking for. Utes in front, 14-0.
Since the Citi Custom Cash Card automatic.
He has not lost a step. He's got chemistry with these guys. That's to the running back right there. But then watch, holds the fake, brings in the safety, which allows Keefe to go over the top for the touchdown. He has done everything that you want from a guy that's controlling the defense by simply his motions, his actions, and being balanced in the offense.
5 of 9 for 121 with 2 touchdowns. Maryland, what have you got from Cam Rising?
Cam Rising is as invested in watching his defense as he is going over what he's doing in offense. Isaac Wilson, the backup freshman quarterback, interrupted Mike Bajakin, the QB's coach, who's going through stuff with Cam, to tap Cam on the shoulder and say, watch this before that last sack. A true teammate and captain for your QB here.
Best starting field position for Utah. There's a flag on the play. Jalen Glover into the game. That's his first carry of the night. We'll check on the flag with referee Henry Johns.
This team believes in Cam. Just got a little bit of an extra step on the offside ball.
Defense, number 32. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Walker Harris jumped early. So Utah will take the 5-yard penalty and keep the first down. The knee injury for Cam Rising in the Rose Bowl was about as bad as it could be. ACL, MCL, meniscus, MPFL, tore all of them. And then there was uncertainty going into last season. Glover on the ground with a nice cutback. Gets it up the middle down to the 30-yard line. There was some thought that Rising was going to be able to return a season ago. They got to the opening week of the season, was not cleared medically. It turned into a week-to-week process with his doctor from Los Angeles ultimately having the say-so on go or no-go. Late in October, they finally decided, shut him down. Let's take the entire offseason to heal. He was back for spring ball. His coaching staff said he looked like his old self in the spring, and there has been a ton of anticipation for this night, this return of Cam Rising. 2021, he was first team All Pac-12. Keithy on the reception, and he shoved out of bounds at the 18. That's a gain of 11 and another first down for the Utes.
There they go, boot right. Slide Keithy up across the line of scrimmage in motion. He outflanks the defense. They don't even see him over that big offensive line, which allows him to get out, sneak out, and get the first down.
Brant Keithy already with his 17th career touchdown on the 29-yard reception earlier in the ball game. He's on the Mackey watch list for the best tight end in the country. And in his first year in the Big 12, he is preseason first team All Big 12. And he's got another touchdown. What a night for Brant Keithy, the 7th-year senior with an 18-yard reception, his second touchdown catch of the night.
Once again, all those tight ends in the game, you think it's specifically run. Here he goes for touchdown number 2. Way to start it out, Keithy.
Coming into this year, Brant Keithy leads all active tight ends in college football in receiving yards and total receptions. He is added to that with 3 more catches in the ball game. 3 plays, 48 yards on a shorter field this time. Took just 1:44. And that's touchdown pass number 3 of the night for Cam Rising.
When you watched them play, they had 2 tight ends to the right. And Miki Sukator. I forget how you say his name.
That's fair.
It's
a challenge.
Outside. He goes out. Everybody's watching the tight end flank out. And that is Lee Keithy, one of the best players at the tight end position in the nation, leak out for a touchdown.
You're wanting me to help you, aren't you?
Well, it was actually Lorna, so I'm glad it didn't. It was Lorna on the play, yes.
That's fair.
But, yes, I mean, it's starting to become unwound for Southern Utah because all the looks that Utah are giving them from a personnel standpoint.
It's one of the great things about this Utah offense, the flexibility that they've got with the tight end position. And really, it's the ends on both sides of the ball. 2 of the deeper position groups, tight end on the offensive side and defensive end.
Absolutely. And when you look at their offense, they've got 3 really good U tight ends and 3 really good Y tight ends. Y tight ends are usually the guys on the line of scrimmage, inline blockers, and the U tight ends are movement guys. Usually the guys can catch, and Keithy's one of those guys. They're hybrids as far as being a tight end and a fullback and a wing guy.
Opening drive for Southern Utah, 6 plays, 24 yards, took 3:18. Second drive, 8 plays, 32 yards, took 5:51. But their third possession, just 3 plays for -2 yards. This Utah defense starting to swarm. That is a good first down run for Targi Lamson. Ultimately, Sione Fotu with the tackle for the Utes, but not before a gain of 18.
Yes, it's a trap play. Well, not really a trap play. This is called power. And what they do, they pull the backside guard in, and just have your back pick a hole he wants to go to. He actually cut it behind the center, and that's where it hit because everybody flowed over. But then he just kept his feet grinding, which allowed him to have a big play there.
Lamson stays in the game as the running back. This time play action, pass incomplete. A little too tall that time for Zach Mitchell. Couldn't go up and haul it in. And that pass came from Bronson Barron. So Southern Utah, as promised, playing 2 quarterbacks in this ball game. Barron Bronson, the transfer from Weber State.
Yeah, on that play, you know, when you have 2 quarterbacks, sometimes it's that you don't have one dominant one. And Barron's the guy who's going to hose it around a little bit. He's a little better passer than you have with Barry. So it's time for him to start passing because they're down 21.
Bronson Barron started his career at Western Kentucky before transferring to Weber State. 2nd and 10. Back on the ground. This time it's Lamson. Just shy of the 45. Going to bring up 3rd down and manageable. Gilman and O'Toole combined on the tackle.
Keep your feet grinding. Keeps those shoulder pads pointed north and south. Get a hat on the hat. I played with a back named Charlie Garner. He said, you don't have to blow off the ball. Just put a hat on a hat, and I'll do the rest.
3rd and 3 for this Southern Utah offense, looking for a first down to keep the drive alive. Movement up front. Was it Tanuvasaw on the defensive line, or was he drawn?
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's the right tackle, Stephen Eakins, who moved early, and Drew Tavanusaw.
I don't know on that play.
No?
No, I mean, in watching it, I think that the tackle was influenced by him. But, you know the snap count. As offensive lineman, take care of the intangibles, the stuff you can control. Know the play and know the snap count.
So instead of 3rd and 3, now 3rd and 8. Movement up front from that Utah defensive line. Barron stands in. It's batted down at the line of scrimmage. It was Van Fillinger that got his paw on it and brings up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Thunderbirds.
As I say it all the time, if you can't get there as a defensive lineman, at least get your hands up, knock it down. If they're not going to move the pocket, if Southern Utah is not going to move the pocket, and they stay right there, then it's going to be hard for this offensive line to block them and keep them from doing that.
Glover with the fair catch at the 20-yard line. That's where this offense will go to work after a 40-yard punt with no return. Opening drive for Utah, 7 plays, 90 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown went to Dejon Stanley. The next 2 have gone to Brant Keefe. 8 plays, 67 yards, and then the quick 3-play, 48-yard touchdown drive. 3 possessions, 3 touchdown passes. Not a bad start. Welcome back, Cam Rising.
Consistency.
7 of 11 in the game for 150 yards. Stanley in the back, out of the backfield releases. It's the same play, a wheel route, and he's going to take it the distance. No flags. Touchdown, Utah, 79 yards.
You got it, Rich. It was the exact same play. All they do is just dress it up at the beginning. Put a tight end in motion. Have your running back outside. Bring them back in. Tight end comes across. And then it's almost like a natural pick. The defense so involved with the tight end since he scored so many times. Now they're watching him instead of watching the running back out of the backfield.
Cole Becker, 28 for 28 a year ago. 4 for 4 tonight on point after tries, and it's 28-0 Utah. Game that had a little bit of a slow start to it. That's one of the things that Southern Utah wanted to do. They wanted to burn clock. They wanted to try to shorten the game. But this has turned into a big play offense for the Utes.
Huge big play offense. It's exactly what Whittingham wants. He wanted shot plays, big plays. You lose a possession, that means you have to score every possession.
We just went through an offseason that was maybe unlike any other in college football. There are big picture storylines, the 12-team playoff, excitement all across the country as it feels like the entire country is going to be involved in the postseason. Conference realignment, we talked about it at the very beginning. New faces, new places. The addition of the 2-minute timeout. It's been the 2-minute warning in the NFL.
Yeah, just change the name, huh?
But we're going 2-minute timeout in college football. And for FBS teams, you've got that direct helmet communication. One player on the offensive side, one player on the defensive side can hear from the coaching staff.
That is so big, Rich. That is so big. To have that communication at the beginning of the play with the quarterback, and he can say what the defense is doing, which is going to allow defensive coordinators to hold what they're going to do. This is really going to be big for these guys to really see how they can implement this to the offense to try to gain an advantage on what the quarterback knows on the field.
Almost universally, you've heard coaches say more of an advantage for the offense than for the defense.
You usually want to have the defense move first, then call the play.
And remember, we said it a second ago, this is an FBS rule. Southern Utah, an FCS team, is not wearing the direct communication. Tanuvasaw on the tackle.
Tanuvasaw is a really good player up front. One of the better tackles in the league right now. He's so quick and explosive, gets up the field, creates all kind of havoc in between the guard and the center that you really have to allocate resources to stop him. A double team a lot of times.
Morgan Scalley told us when we were talking about players on the defensive side, it was the first name that he brought up. He said, I'm so excited to watch Tanuvasaw play this year. He's had a great offseason, played a little bit a year ago, said this is his time.
Moves so fluidly. Here, there's him again. Moves so fluidly. They run a little X game. He gets out, but he can redirect right back in. He flops out and then directs back in to stop the running back. Usually you can explode through the hole, but he's there so quick that he can't explode through it.
27 tackles a year ago for Tanuvasaw, a sophomore from Mission Viejo, California.
Start to hit the student section. Get hype.
The Muss, the mighty Utah student section. A couple of years removed from being named the best student section in college football. Sione Fotu on the tackle, short of the first down. 4th down and a couple coming up. And once again, the punt team will come on for Southern Utah.
They've got to try to flip the field. You know, they're trying to run this QB draw. And I understand why. I mean, the coverage down the field, not just the guys up front, but the coverage down the field has been impeccable. They are man-to-man, zone, whatever it is. They're just covering the receivers for the Southern Utah team.
And this is nothing new for Utah defense. They were top 3 in total defense in the Pac-12 in each of the last 7 years. Led the league in 2019 with 269 yards allowed per game. They've been good tonight. 28-0. We're back to Salt Lake City after this. This Utah passing offense has been on fire out of the gates on opening night. Couple of touchdown catches for Brant Kuithe. Cam Rising, 229 yards and 4 touchdowns on 8 completions. Also 2 touchdown catches on the exact same play, Barrett, for Dejon Stanley.
Great way to call. Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, is having a great day with formations, personnel packages, and just movement in the offense.
Bernard on the carry. Mekhi Bernard, the senior from Long Beach, California, with a gain of 16.
And this is just inside zone right here. Inside zone, handed off to the running back. Offensive line starting to get a double team at the point of the attack, driving them back. And the running back is just has to pick a hole. It's starting to wear on this defense. The defense is starting to get a little tired now. Those big bodies are starting to weigh in on those little bodies in there. And when you have not just offensive linemen, but tight ends in there on it with added weight, that's tough on the defensive line.
Hand off to Stanley. He's brought down after a gain of 4.
And that's outside zone. Double team, front side. You're going to read a reach to the outside. Let the running back just pick a hole, fall forward for 4 yards. First down, 4 yards. It's a great opportunity for you to get with a shot play on second down now.
I lied to you. It was only 3 yards that time.
Okay.
But we're all square now.
There we go.
2nd and 7 for Utah from the 45. Mike Mitchell into the game. It's been Bernard, Mitchell, and Glover so far in the backfield alongside Cam Rising, who wants to throw again. He's going to take off, and he'll go down head first at midfield. Makaria Pleasant-Johnson on the tackle.
Now you look at this replay. There's nobody open down the field. He climbs the pocket, then he starts running. Now that brings me to ask you this, Rich. How long do you allow him to stay in this game? They're up by 28 points. They're not even at halftime yet. Do you keep him in the game? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
I think there are 2 schools of thought here. One, it's the first time he's played in 605 games, and you'd like to get him comfortable. He looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he does.
There does not appear to be a lot of rust. Back on the ground here. The other school of thought is you named a true freshman, the backup quarterback. Isaac Wilson from Powerhouse Corner Canyon High School in Draper, about 20 miles from here in downtown Salt Lake City. You want to see what you got with the freshman?
I absolutely would want to see what the freshman has, especially when you're up by this many points. And, it's you don't want an injury to happen. I'm not speaking it up on it, and never want to talk about that.
But, Barrett, the other part of this is you got to let guys play football, too,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. It's almost like in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles did not play any of their starters on the offensive side of the ball, not the quarterback, running back, offensive line, receivers, or anybody, tight end. So there's going to be an amount of rust going into this. You don't want a freshman to come in and have rust for the rest of the season. So I'm on the mindset that, all right, I don't want my quarterback to be in for that long with the team.
You saw Isaac Wilson on the sideline. That's big brother.
The previous play is under further review for the spot. See if it was a first down or not.
So they're going to take a look at the spot. Zach Wilson now with the Denver Broncos organization, obviously a standout at BYU. Turned into a first-round draft pick, and probably hoping to see little brother play some ball tonight.
He looked pretty good, actually, in the last game I saw him playing. Was able to push the ball down the field, got a little confidence in him. It was hard for the Jets to really get him going. I don't think they played him the way he needed to be played. Yeah, but this is outside zone. He didn't get far enough outside and got caught from the backside. That's the hard thing about running those type of plays with those big defensive linemen in there.
So they're checking the spot. Mike Mitchell, 48-yard line just across midfield. Looks like they've got the spot right on the field. Take a look to make sure that the knee did not go down before that.
Yeah, the big fella. Rylan Suafalo He stopped them at the point of attack.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
3:55 left in this second quarter. Utah leading 28-0 and driving. Kyle Whittingham in his 20th season. We had the most on-brand visit with Kyle Whittingham yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
He walks into the meeting room. He's covered in sweat, hair's wet, Gatorade towel around his neck, and says, "Sorry guys, just had to get a quick workout in." Rising on the bootleg. That one is complete to Dorian Singer, his second catch of the game.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they're still passing the ball, considering the fact, it's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first half. A little boot protection, run off boot, and they have a comeback on the outside. Easy pitch and catch. Receivers playing off so they can see what's going on. Far too many guys running scot-free in their secondary.
This Utah staff really excited to get Dorian Singer. They said he is the clear #1 in that wide receiver room. You saw the numbers from Southern Cal a year ago. It was his sophomore season at Arizona where he exploded at over 1,000 yards receiving. 9 career touchdown catches across 2 schools for Dorian Singer.
Yeah, here they get penetration on the run play, the outside zone. They're not able to get to the outside because they're at the point of the attack on the outside. They're able to get penetration up the field so they can't get around it. But, you're right as far as, Singer being that #1. Money Parks, and that's what they did. They invested in the guys on the outside, which is only going to open up this offense even more.
Jalen Glover releases out of the backfield, rising, scrambles forward, and goes down. Spot him just shy of the 30 at the 31-yard line after a gain of 3 for Cam Rising.
And this is Coach Skelly in 12 personnel. And it was interesting how they did this. They put them out wide, but they had the 2 tight ends out in the slot with the wide receivers.
That takes us to the 2-minute timeout.
Timeout.
Not warning, but timeout.
2-minute timeout. Late second quarter. Utah in front, 28-0 over Southern Utah.
Right. Especially not where you're from.
Yeah, this boy from the Deep South not used to 8% humidity, but I am not complaining. Movement up front looked like Money Parks may have moved early on the outside. He may not have been the only one.
He says it's his turn. He wants to get out there.
False start. Offense. Number 10. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That is the flame that still burns. This was the opening and closing ceremony stadium for the 2002 Olympics. And that's what this venue was built for, a magnificent facility for Utah. 51,444 capacity tonight, the 84th consecutive sellout in this building, going back to the season opener in 2010. Rising with time, floats it over the middle, through the hands, incomplete, trying to connect with Micah Pittman.
As they get a stop, this is huge. The Thunderbirds get a stop on third down.
And kind of no man's land here, 4th and 12. You've got the ball at the 36. And the offense staying on the field for Utah.
It's 1:54 on the clock. Why not keep them out there? This is huge for this Thunderbirds defense.
Micah Bernard is the running back in the game. That may change the plans for Kyle Whittingham and the Utah offense.
False start. Offense. Everyone but the center. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
You got to love that.
Jaron Kump says, why you got to do that to me, Henry Johns? Well, Mr. Referee. You can see, though, Cam Rising was kind of waiting on the snap and moving back. Rest of the offensive line went early. And so now the punt team on the field. Baumeister is the punter for Utah, and he is a good one. He's hit. A flag comes down. Punt goes into the end zone. Rylan Suafilo ran into Jack Baumeister.
That's just undisciplined play right there. There's no chance of you getting it.
Running into the kicker, number 83 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
Well, you got the 4 yards back, so does that mean you bring the offense back onto the field and try it again on 4th and 12 like you were originally going to do?
You know what? This might be a mercy thing. I mean, it's 4th and what, 12, 4th and 13?
Cam Rising's on the field.
You know,
I don't think he's going to be the punter.
No, I mean, they have a better chance of stopping him here than driving the ball if they do punt it 90 yards.
.146 left in this second quarter.
Keep an eye on 44.
Rising. Incomplete. A lot of contact. Singer looking for the flag, and it comes in late. I think it was the back judge that threw that. In coverage there, you had, for Southern Utah, 25 was in coverage. That was...
I would really like to get a look at this.
Okay. The 25 on the roster that we've got for Southern Utah is Jaden Robertson. He's listed as a wide receiver. Not sure if that is the 25 that's in the game right now.
Pass interference. Defense. Results is automatic 1st down.
Here on the outside. 44. Around the corner. Collapses the tackle. Push back.
And you said before the snap there, watch out for 44. That's Lando Brown. And then you see the contact at the end of the play.
It's a great play when you say the game within the game. And when you look at Brown and Fano, these two are battling on passing downs.
Bijan Stanley motions in and then out of the backfield. Rising takes a shot at the 15-yard line.
And Rich, you say he takes a shot.
First charge timeout of the half. Utah, 30-second timeout.
That might be why we won't see him in the second half, taking shots.
First time out of the half called by Utah. Minute 30 remaining in this opening half of play. The season opener tonight. A lot of eyes on the Big 12 tonight. In addition to Utah opening their season, Colorado hosting North Dakota State, a program that has been very good through the years. And they've got a tight one in Boulder. Colorado leading 24-20 over North Dakota State.
Carson Wentz's old alma mater.
One of the powerhouses in the FCS. Of course, you've got South Dakota State headed to Stillwater this weekend to take on Oklahoma State, reigning back-to-back national champions at the FCS level. Mekhi Bernard in the game, gets the handoff, bounces to the outside, and spins his way to the 11.
And when you have teams like that, I don't know if you necessarily say that's one of those games you want to get a tune-up on or want to play those FCS teams like that.
Mike Gundy admitted that they started game prep earlier than they normally would for the season opener, out of respect for what South Dakota State has been.
Absolutely.
Keithy on the reception, fighting his way into the end zone for a touchdown. That's a grown man touchdown for Brant Keithy, his 3rd of the game.
He knows he may not play in the second half.
result of the play was a touchdown. Holding. Defense, number 18. Penalty is declined.
That is the 5th touchdown pass of the first half tonight for Cam Rising. That is a new career high. He had 4 touchdown passes a couple of years ago against San Diego State.
Yes.
5 tonight in the first half against Southern Utah. Cole Becker stays perfect, 5 for 5 on extra points, and it's a 35-0 lead for the Utes as we close in on halftime. Just 68 seconds remaining in this first half.
Then a slot on a little wheel route, comes and stops. But then there's 4 defenders there that should have stopped him. We're talking about a guy with the will to be great. He just wouldn't be denied. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 defenders trying to keep him out of the end zone, and they can't do it.
Brant Keithy's father, Dennis, played football at the University of North Texas. His twin brother, Blake, a former Utah teammate here in Salt Lake City. The Muss has had plenty to cheer about. What else is happening tonight? UCF, no trouble with New Hampshire. Big win for the Knights. Kansas leading 41-0 over Lindenwood, and a lot of eyes on Boulder with Colorado in front by the slightest of margins, up 24-20 as they head to the 4th quarter. And
you know,
Folsom Field.
Those are two teams that could really be guys that compete in the Big 12 conference.
Returned by Jordan Jefferson. He's brought down at the 20-yard line.
UCF's Gus Malzahn.
But you got so many teams in the Big 12 now. We can't fit them all on a single page. That's just a sample of what you're going to see this weekend.
Right.
Huge one in Morgantown on Saturday with number 8 Penn State rolling in to face West Virginia. Tarleton got a win in week 0 over McNeese. They'll play at Baylor. We'll be in Provo, just 45 miles up the road for the season opener for BYU as they host the Southern Illinois Salukis on Saturday night. Intended for Zach Mitchell, pass from Bronson Barron, incomplete. Clock stops on the incompletion, brings up 2nd and 10.
Bronson Barron has to calm down a little bit. You know, he understands, you know, those guys are coming. He stays in the pocket, but he's got to deliver a catchable ball.
Has yet to complete a pass since coming into the ball game. 0 for his first 3. Braden Whistler back in at running back. 2nd and 10 from the 20 with 56 seconds until the halftime break. This pass is bobbled and caught. Nice catch that time by Mark Bales. Good coverage by Zamiah Vaughn, but Bales able to haul it in. That is his 2nd catch of the ball game.
Second charge, timeout of the half. Utah. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 200 pounds. You know, shielded, played a little basketball.
Please set the game clock to 51 seconds. 5-1.
Interesting decision there by Utah to take their 2nd timeout. With 51 seconds left in this 2nd quarter, up 35-0. But a 3rd down play and a chance for them to get the football back one more time.
And you know what? This is all situational football that they're working on right now. I mean, I hate to say it, but at this point, it's almost like they're coaching and they're scrimmaging against the team because now they're going to the situation, all right, we got 3rd and this amount. What are we going to run to stop them, especially when we get into Big 12 play? Let's work on this blitz, or let's work on this man-to-man concept, or, you know, whatever they're working on.
This Utah defense in attack mode. One of the things that Morgan Scalley talked to us about was they need to create more turnovers. He's looking for a combined 60 sacks and turnovers. You see, since 2019, 120 sacks by this Utah defense. They move up front, and looks like maybe somebody on the offensive line moved early. Perhaps Stephen Eakins, the right tackle. Eakins is coming out of the game, so that's what his coaches saw.
That's number 2 on him.
Delay of game. Defense. Number 58. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Oh.
Well, that went the other way than what we thought. So it's Junior Tafuna who gets the delay of game penalty, and now a fresh set of downs for Southern Utah. Dumped out of the backfield, incomplete, trying to get it to Braden Whistler. It feels like, Barrett, there are two things going on. One, there's no time because of what this Utah defensive line is doing. That pocket's collapsing, but the coverage downfield has not allowed anything down the field in the passing game.
You know, it's going hand in hand. Those guys up front are creating pressure, but then you look at it, there's no separation with the receivers. It's hard to throw to a guy who's been covered like that.
Lamson back in at running back, pressure up the middle. Flag comes in. Remember how fast the first quarter was? Less so in the second quarter.
First quarter flew by.
Utah has already had one player that has had to come out of the game, Kenan Johnson, in coverage on the complete opposite side of the field from where the play was going. Had to be helped off the field, put no pressure on the left leg. Maryland Payne told us earlier.
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's Kyle Safarchuk.
Great job.
And the Utah training staff continuing to check on the injured player. Aliki Vimahi is the player that's got to be helped all the way across the field. Good news when you see him walking off. He is putting some weight on both legs. Now, he's certainly walking gingerly. Injuries were such a part of the story for this Utah football team a year ago. It starts with Cam Rising, but that goes to the end of the previous season. Kyle Whittingham told us, I was really, really proud of our football team a season ago, given some of the limitations that they had because of injuries, guys that they lost for either extended periods of time or the entire season, to find a way to win 8 games, to get back to a bowl game, to go to that Las Vegas Bowl.
Impact players also, Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about guys that, you know, had major roles on how this team concepts and how they were calling plays. And, you know, they were still able to stay and play at a high level. I mean, even against Washington, when they played against Washington, they had so many players out, but they were still able to compete with a team that, you know, participated in the national championship game. So, you know, they learned that this is a culture that they breed toughness here.
Two guys that were huge impact players on the defensive side a year ago that had their seasons shut down early. Van Fillinger, he was leading the team in tackles before his season-ending injury. And also Lander Barton, who had that foot injury against USC and was never able to return. Second down and 20 after the holding penalty. In trouble, incomplete. That was Fillinger providing the pressure.
That's hard on Bronson because right now he's looking around, and it seems like they have 12 defenders out there, and he just can't get loose. He just can't find anywhere to go with the ball.
I think we had a late flag that came in as well. Looks to me like Bronson Barron is lobbying our referee Henry Johns that it was not intentional grounding.
It absolutely wasn't. The running back was there. He was trying to run a screen play. And, you know, the timing was off on it.
Well, Henry Johns disagrees. He says intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding, number 10 of the offense. That foul includes a 10-second runoff, which Utah has declined to take. Play will start on the snap. Loss of down, 3rd down.
So that is a spot foul, a loss of down, and a 10-second runoff.
Oh, I see what happened. It was a good call because the linebacker held the running back who was out trying to get out in the route to catch the screen. So that was a little bit of gamesmanship by the linebacker holding the running back. I wish we could get a replay of that again. But it was just a great defensive play.
3rd and Provo for Southern Utah.
Right.
$34 yards to go for a 1st down. Mentioned Provo, you've got the return of that incredible rivalry game between Utah and BYU as a conference game this year. It is here.
Play clock operator. Please, game clock operator. Please set the game clock to 36 seconds. 3, 6.
All right, glad we got that sorted out. November 9th here in Salt Lake City. You know what a scene that's going to be here at Rice-Eccles.
Oh, yes, yes. Total sellout probably already.
Third and 34. And this one is incomplete. That was a rush that was timed perfectly. I was looking for flags there.
I was also.
Bronson Barron had absolutely nothing that he could do with the football, and Southern Utah is going to be forced to punt.
Tonavaso almost untouched getting up the field and creating pressure.
Utah still got a timeout remaining. Rayshon Glover standing at midfield as another flag comes in.
Holy crap.
False start.
False start. Offense, number 24. Half the distance to the goal, still 4th down.
You know, when Southern Utah converted the 1st down, what, a minute of clock time ago, feels like half an hour ago.
Right.
It felt like they were going to be able to run out the clock and get to the locker room. They are now having to punt it away. Not a great punt, fielded by Glover. Makes a couple of guys miss, trying to get to the outside. Oh, what a great open field tackle on that play.
That was a game-changing tackle, a score-changing tackle. They had set up the wall on that play.
Utah leading 35-0 with 21 seconds. The Big 12 preseason media poll. Utah got 20 first-place votes. They are picked to win the Big 12 in year number 1 in the conference. And Barrett, you look at those 5 teams that got first-place votes. This is wide open. It's going to be such a competitive league. I would make the argument that there's not a league in college football that's going to be more fun to watch than this one. Here is Isaac Wilson making his season debut inside Rice-Eccles Stadium, and he is sacked on his first play as a quarterback. Walker Harris gets the sack.
Final charge, time out of the half. Utah, 30 seconds.
I don't know that that's exactly how Isaac Wilson had dreamed about his first play going.
Right, you know, you look at it, I mean, he just runs around him. And like I said before, you know, Bono was having a tough time against pass rushers with speed on the outside. I mean, a tough time. Josh Lopez, 45, and Lando Brown, 44.
Isaac Wilson may be making his debut for the Utes, but he's not making his debut inside Rice-Eccles Stadium. Let's go back to last December, state championship game for Corner Canyon. Isaac Wilson, a record-setting season And he had a massive championship game, leading Corner Canyon to the state title. 255 yards through the air with 2 touchdowns, another 192 yards on the ground with 3 rushing touchdowns. And you can bet there were some Utes fans that were at that game going, this is our guy next year. Wilson scrambling away, trying to avoid trouble. He'll go out of bounds at midfield.
Truly gifted as a runner and a passer. And he's still young yet. He doesn't even know the college football game yet. But, you know, you could tell Coach Whittingham was definitely impressed with him.
Isaac Wilson last year set a Utah State high school record with 5,901 total yards of offense as a senior.
Wow.
2-time first team All-State. 3rd down and 15 here for the Utes. Wilson with time, lets it fly, and it is intercepted. Lakaria Pleasant Johnson diving forward, able to come up with the pick. See Dad kind of hands in his face there. Zach Wilson, his older brother, watching on.
Result of the play was an interception. Please set the game clock to 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Looked like he was trying to get it there to Caleb Lohner, just had the ball sail on him.
Yeah, but you know he's going to have some trouble at the dinner table tomorrow night with that pass. First 3 plays.
Feels like there's going to be some opportunity for Isaac Wilson to maybe write this story in the second half. We'll see how that works out. 3 seconds remaining until halftime. Utah will get the ball to start the second half. Thunderbirds content to take a knee and head to the locker room. What an incredible start to the year for Cam Rising. 10 of 15 total offense, 254 through the air. Utah led the country in time of possession a season ago at 34 minutes and 4 seconds per game. But Southern Utah had the ball longer in the first half. It will be Utah football to start the second half. Thunderbirds kick it away. And this is going to be a touchback out the back of the end zone on a beautiful Thursday night. First full opening weekend of the college football season. Isaac Wilson headed back out. If you were with us at halftime, you heard Kyle Whittingham say, we kind of put him in a tough spot there. My guess is that Isaac Wilson had kind of envisioned the second half largely being his. Got thrown into the mix. Was sacked once, threw an interception.
All a learning experience, Rich. All a learning experience.
Jalen Glover in the backfield with Isaac Wilson. Kyle Whittingham says he simply got better every single day in camp. He was an early enrollee, so after winning a state championship at Corner Canyon, he went from being a high school senior to a college freshman. Kyle Whittingham said there is no way he would have been able to fill this backup role if he had not been there for spring ball. And Andy Ludwood, the offensive coordinator, told us in our meetings that it was about 10, somewhere between practice 10 and 14 of camp. Everything changed. Work ethic got better, film study and the commitment to learning the playbook got better, and he clearly separated himself. Let's go downstairs and check in with Marilyn Payne.
That commitment to learning the plays and really learning from Cam is something that's shown up all night on this sideline. Isaac has been a shadow beside Cam the whole night, listening to everything that he said with his coaching staff, watching what he does, and I mean literally not leaving his hip before stepping onto the field for his debut here.
It went from Cam Rising, the quarterback, to Cam Rising, the teacher, right before the start of this second half.
And that's what you want. You absolutely want that. And, you know, because he came in early, it allowed him to not just learn the offense. He can learn the offense, but learn what it is to be a Ute number one.
Floats this one down the middle of the field, incomplete. That was in the direction of Dadron Zipperer.
But yeah, he learned to be a Ute #1. You know, just learn the culture, learn what it is to be a college football player, being in a college football environment. He needed to learn that stuff in order for him, you know, to catch up on what it is to be here.
Punt coming up for Utah after the 3 and out. One of the things that Utah spends a lot of time focusing on is culture. Kyle Whittingham said that starts in recruiting with the way that his assistant coaches identify players, coach them up after they project them as well. And Maryland, one of the things that stood out with Kyle Whittingham was what he talked about in terms of culture with this football team with new players coming in.
Captain defensive tackle Junior Tafuna told us before the coaching staff even did. When I talked to Junior this week, he said they tell us, you will turn into us, we will not turn into you. And that's how the standard is set here, knowing that this veteran group was going to step aside tonight and let some newcomers play this evening. Tafuna said it's really important for us to continue to enforce that and ask for that accountability on the sideline in the second half.
Pretty powerful quote there. You will become us, we will not become you. Jackson Berry back in to start this second half. Played most of the first quarter, then we saw Bronson Barron for most of the second quarter. Joshua Acord on the catch there.
Yeah, great decision on the boot protection. Get it out of his hand, get it into a playmaker's hand. But, you know, just like he's saying, you know, with the culture of the youth, you want that. You want these guys to display that even in times where they're not in there. You know, the veteran guys helping these younger guys make sure they stay focused, you know, cheering for them. This is all, from a culture standpoint, gold, even in these blowout situations.
On the ground, Targi Lamson, the senior from Spanish Fork, Utah, brought down. One of the things that is kind of amazing when you look at today's college football landscape, Kyle Whittingham in his 20th season, second longest tenured coach in all of college football. But look how long his assistant coaches have been with him. His defensive coordinator, Morgan Scalley, in his 17th year at his alma mater. Andy Lugwood now in his second stint, this time for 6 years. Bunch of guys who have been double-digit year coaches on this staff.
And players that were on the staff.
Nice job getting rid of the football there by Jackson Berry to avoid the lost yardage play.
Look at the amount of players that were on this staff that played here with the youth. I mean, I played with Luther Ellis. He was a man-child when he came out. You know, I mean, they love to make sure that you know this youth's way. And, you know, that's what Wilson's learning right now, how to become a youth.
How about two of the three longest tenured coaches in all of college football here in the Big 12? That's Morgan Scalley, who's the head coach in waiting. Didn't get the impression that that was anytime soon. I thought Morgan Scalley had interesting things to say about the fact that he has to focus on the job that he's got, not the job that he's going to have one day. Big completion there to Mark Bales. He's had a nice game tonight. Bales with his third catch. This time into Utes territory, gain of 21.
You know, another boot, gets him out of the pocket, moves the launching point of the quarterback, and he's able to throw across his body and get it to the receiver. Shows his arm off, #1, arm talent #1, but shows his athleticism. They go out and run and then throw it across his body to hit that crossing route to get the first down.
Lamson in at running back for Southern Utah. It's the biggest pass play of the night for the Thunderbirds. It's Lamson straight ahead. Going back to that conversation with Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator, I asked him, I was like, how do you not think about that? He said, well, during the season, I don't have time to think about it.
Right.
College football coaches put in a lot of hours in terms of game prep and recruiting responsibilities and all of the other things that are going on. But he said, you know, maybe when you're on the golf course in July, you kind of let your mind wander a little bit, but he's very content in the spot that he's in right now. Second down play, and that one is intercepted. Elijah Davis steps in front of the pass. That's the first turnover created by this Utah defense tonight, and that's going to make Morgan Scalley smile.
You know, they went to the well too much. They went out with the protection, let the guy cross his face on the wheel route, and then he undercut it on out sitting down in zone. He thought it was man-to-man. Barry thought it was man-to-man, but it was a zone. And the corner sat out there, sat on the route, was able to come across his face and make the play.
Elijah Davis, the sophomore from Winter Haven, Florida, had just 3 tackles a season ago. Biggest defensive play of his career. As the Utah offense is back onto the field. And off from Wilson. Glover on the carry. Let's check in with Maryland.
You talk about Morgan Scalley and the future that he has with this program as a leader. Junior Tafuna, he's exactly who the captain ID'd as the man who enforces accountability more than any other coach on the staff. He said he sees and expects mistakes when he watches plays live, and you can come off the field and see already what he's going to say to you. Junior said he just holds us at such a high level of accountability. He's very passionate, and he gives us that feedback. His accountability calling is his greatest quality.
Dejon Stanley on the carry. What a night for Dejon Stanley. He's got 2 touchdown receptions in the ballgame. This time he runs it for a gain of 11 yards. Hard not to like his game and the step that he's taken from a year ago.
So explosive. You know, even the running game, he's shown us now the running game. You know, out here, it's nothing but an outside zone, capture the outside, then the run blocking of that offensive line, giving him an opportunity to turn the corner, pushing the defensive line off the ball.
Into Southern Utah territory, Mike Mitchell is the tailback. Wilson on play action. Dumps it off underneath, complete. McKee Sugataraga with the catch.
You know, Richard, you look at these guys, this is all a learning experience for both teams. You know, you've got a team right now that's getting beat up pretty bad, but they're learning from this. I mean, they're playing against a top 12 FBS team. And, you know, they're ranked 3rd in their conference right now. So the Thunderbirds, they have a lot that they can learn from this, and the coach is going to coach them up. You know, eventually, this will be, you know, water off their back. But, hey, I'll tell you what, this youth team is also having an opportunity to learn, especially these young guys getting some reps.
Joe Tagomoa on the tackle that time. Mike Mitchell brought down after a short gain. Going to bring up 3rd down and 5.
You know, speaking of learning and the coach being there forever, I played with Bill Snyder. You know, he's part of the greatest turnaround ever. And he coached forever, and he set that culture.
Got any handwritten notes from Bill Snyder?
More than handwritten notes.
Isaac Wilson trying to scramble his way to the 1st down marker. He's knocked out of bounds short by Brendan Hale.
You know, that culture saved my life. You know, I was an undisciplined kid from St. Louis, and, you know, Coach Snyder, you know, allowed me to come in and mature. You know, you talk about this team saying you're going to change into what they are, and we're not going to change you. It's different in today's society as far as these younger players. They don't do that these days, but you come here, they make you change as a team, a player.
Utah has not sent the punt unit out. They've got number 8, Brandon Rose, into the game as Wilson's shoe came off, and he's going to get an assist from Cam Rising.
Look who's trying to shoot.
Timeout of the half. Utah, media timeout.
That's the 2nd time tonight we have seen Cam Rising tying the shoe of a teammate. He does it all. 35-0 Utah in front.
Since my City Custom Cash Card.
Shoe on his foot, so, oh, Cam Rising to the rescue. Here we go. Barrett, he's going with the loop and pull method. What do you think?
Well, you know what? I can break down cover 2. I don't know how to break this down. I think he started off with the bunny ears first, but then he changed it up on me, man. Changed the play. He audibled on it, you know, so he does it all. He throws touchdown passes to tight ends, and he ties shoes. What else can he do?
Wilson back in. 4th down for Utah. Wilson dumps it complete. That's a 1st down and more on the reception. Dadrin Zipperer. Gain of 18 and a 1st down. And Isaac Wilson looked a little more comfortable there. By the way, in Boulder, 31-26. Colorado leading it over North Dakota State. 5 seconds remaining in that game. A third down play coming up for the Bison. Looks like Colorado is going to escape with perhaps a Hail Mary play coming up. Charlie Vincent in the backfield now for Utah, along with Wilson. Zipper once again. Brandon Hale on the tackle, flag on the play. Colorado has won the football game. Hail Mary that didn't get all the way to the end zone. North Dakota State. You see Zipper there, the flag at the end. North Dakota State got the ball down to about the 5.
Wow.
Couldn't get into the end zone.
That just goes to sometimes, you don't want to play these FCS schools, especially these FCS schools that are pretty good. Just like a North Dakota State and a South Dakota State.
South Dakota State headed to Stillwater this weekend.
The result of the play was a first down. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. First down. It's number 55's first unsportsmanlike of the game.
That's Spencer Fauno, one of 2 freshmen a year ago in all of FBS to start the season at left tackle.
Well, he's had a tough day today, going against him. But I tell you what, you can't have that. And he's going to hear about it when he gets to meetings tomorrow. And in the NFL, you get fines for those type of things. But, this is college football.
So now 1st and 21. I beg your pardon, 1st and 10 from the 21. Lando Brown on the tackle for Southern Utah.
It also shows you the amount of respect they have for Wilson and his skill set as a quarterback. They still have the starting offensive line out there on the field. That means they want to make sure he stays safe while he's in the game.
Charlie Vincent back in the game, the senior from right here in Salt Lake City. Wilson with a clean pocket, delivers a strike. That one is complete to Luca Caldarella. Caldarella, a junior college transfer, had 3 catches for 31 yards a year ago.
Roughing the passer, number 44 of the defense. Half the distance from the end of the run, automatic first down.
So Lando Brown, who made the tackle on the previous play, called for the personal foul there. We'll take another look.
Trying to keep him clean, and that's just blatant right there. That's no discipline. And once again, his coach will get on him for that. That was just an out-and-out, play. You just can't do that. That's not football.
They announced Lando Brown. That was actually Walker Harris that shoved him down. You see state championship game numbers, 255 through the air, 193 on the ground, 5 touchdowns. That was Isaac Wilson in a Corner Canyon jersey, now in a Utah Utes jersey. And it's Brown on the tackle.
A little misdirection. Pull the tight end to the backside and just stay front side with the run. They collapsed everything down on the left side, and he walked into the end zone. It's been a long day for that defensive line. Long day.
Lane Fitzgerald, the head coach at Southern Utah, said, we're going to play hard. We're going to be ready to play in this ball game. Southern Utah will have to take a timeout. Had too many men on the field trying to get them off before a penalty was in place. He said, but we also understand the big picture.
First timeout of the half. Southern Utah.
Go to UTEP next week. And got some games that maybe a little more in their weight class coming up. SMU to make up the new ACC with 17 teams. The 4 corner states, Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, all now part of the 16-team Big 12 Southeastern Conference with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas. And Oregon State and Washington State remaining in what was the Pac-12. We'll be quizzed on that later. Zach Wilson floats into the end zone. Incomplete. Lohner couldn't hang on. May have gotten away with a little push off there as well.
Just a little bit, you know. But, you know, looking at that graphic, that's a lot of, you know, tough teams that enter into these conferences that, you know, kind of evens it out. Yeah, he kind of pushed off just a little bit. In fact, he almost made him do a somersault.
Covered there by Brendan Hale, who wanted to know where the flag was. 3rd and goal. Mike Mitchell in the backfield. It's Landon King, the tight end, moving to the right side. Stretch to the left. Mitchell trying to get to the corner. Going for the pylon. Touchdown, Mike Mitchell. His first career touchdown as a Ute. In high school, Mike Mitchell rushed for 2,002 yards and 22 touchdowns. He is a speedster, a 10-8 100-meter guy. And he'll never forget that one, his first touchdown as a Ute.
He showed it too. In fact, they had that play all locked up. They played it just right. They would have scraped the linebacker to the outside from the 2 blockers on the outside. He just outran the defender to the corner. That's just speed. I'm faster than you on the outside.
Did you see 83 there, Sugatu Raga, who engaged with the linebacker and was able to just kind of keep him and not let him get out into try and cut that lane off. 12 plays, 57 yards, 6 minutes, 9 seconds, and a touchdown run for Mike Mitchell, his first in a Utah uniform. Zip, Utes in front with 4:23 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Glad to have you along on this opening Thursday night of the college football season alongside Barrett Brooks, Marilyn Payne on the sideline. I'm Richard Cross. Thanks for being with us on an absolutely gorgeous night in Salt Lake City. Rice-Eccles Stadium sold out for the 84th consecutive game tonight. In the shadows of the Wasatch Mountains to the east and the Oquirrh Mountains to the west. Southern Utah will start this drive at the 25-yard line. Jordan Jefferson perhaps wisely taking a knee there after not having a ton of success bringing it out. So Colorado hangs on against North Dakota State. UCF wins big tonight. Kansas wins big. Utah on its way to a big win. A little Big Ten ACC matchup with North Carolina visiting Minnesota tonight. That's a 1-point game going to the 4th quarter in Minneapolis. Missouri, one of the teams that is kind of in the same neighborhood as Utah in terms of the preseason rankings. They shut out Murray State 51-0 tonight. Jackson Berry trying to keep this play alive and doing a good job with his feet. He'll loft it down the field. He's got a receiver. That's Mark Bales on the catch. And Bales will be dragged down at the 38-yard line. There is a flag down. You saw a Utah defender there in your screen kind of throwing his arms up trying to sell a holding call. We'll see if they get that call. 2 flags down on the play. If the play stands, it's the biggest play of the night for Southern Utah. Gain of 37 yards, but
There were 2 fouls on the play, both committed by the offense. An eligible receiver downfield, number 51, penalty is declined. Holding, offense, number 88, 10 yards from the previous spot, replay first down.
You know, I'm gonna tell you the truth, Richard. It's tough as an offensive lineman when you have a mobile quarterback like that. I mean, you're running around like this, and you know, he's in the pocket. He's supposed to have that launch point right there. Then he gets to running around like that. And then you're trying to block for him still, and you don't know where he is. And he's just trying to hustle. He's trying to work. Offensive lineman's trying to work. But, you know, once he gets out the pocket, you don't know where he is. So it's tough. You know, I had to block for Randall Cunningham. And he was one of the same guys that would just run around. You don't know where he is. A lot of holding calls results from that.
How special an athlete was Randall Cunningham.
The ultimate weapon. He was such a special player, man, as far as being able to do it all. Had a cannon on one arm. He could sit there, he could stand there just without even breaking a sweat, just throw a ball 80 yards down the field. Just slinging it. But then go out there and run a 4.5, 4.4 40.
Okay, how would you like to see Randall Cunningham in today's NFL?
Oh my goodness, it'd be unreal because you couldn't stop him, especially when you can't touch these receivers these days. He'd be even more remarkable.
Instead of a 37-yard gain 2 plays ago, it was a 10-yard loss on the holding penalty. Van Fillinger with a sack. He had 3 of them a year ago.
Yeah, once again, it seems like they have 12 men on the field right now. In Jackson Berry's eyes, he can't go anywhere. There's always a red flash in front of his face.
4th sack of the night by this Utah defense. 3rd and 28 here for Southern Utah, and kind of feels like the Utes are coming again. It's a handoff. Whistler gets it out close to the 20, nowhere close to the yardage needed for a first down. And it's punting time for the Thunderbirds.
At least a little breathing room. Get them out of the end zone, punt it down the field. They've been having a little problem getting some long punt yardage.
Rashawn Glover, the return man for Utah. Sophomore out of Rosenberg, Texas. Transfer from Trinity Valley Community College. Glover trying to make a play. That's good coverage down the field that time for Southern Utah. So the media picked Utah to win the Big 12. ESPN Analytics had other thoughts. 5 teams with a better chance to win the Big 12 here in 2024 than Utah. Kansas with the best odds at 18%. Then K-State, Arizona, Oklahoma State, TCU. TCU, a lot of people sleeping on the Horned Frogs this year. Just 2 years removed from playing in the national championship game against Georgia. We mentioned West Virginia. You did earlier as a perhaps sleeper team in the Big 12. Neil Brown took that personally. We'll get our first look at West Virginia as you see what Isaac Wilson can do with his feet.
He had 100-some yards in the last time he played on this field.
192 to be exact. Henry Harper finally brought him down after a 22-yard gain.
Yeah, you look at the ESPN poll, you know, Coach Leipold in Kansas, you know, he's really changed how people look at the University of Kansas and what they, you know, what their ranking is.
It's all about a healthy Jalen Daniels, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, is he healthy? You go into this thing thinking you have a legitimate shot.
Dejon Stanley in the backfield alongside Isaac Wilson, the freshman who is the backup. Named backup about 2 weeks ago. Kyle Whittingham said he made it abundantly clear that he was the #2 quarterback on this team. Talking with Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, said very similar in terms of his playing style to Cam Rising. He's got similar arm talent, and you saw the play with his feet just a moment ago.
Yeah, he compared the two of them. You know, you can just tell he was just glowing on. He couldn't say enough about how this young player came in as a natural freshman and really turned the corner in his maturation, working out, doing all those type of things.
Stanley in the backfield. That one blown up in the backfield. Connor Meyer comes in and makes the tackle for loss.
Great shape. Picking a hole and just running through it, going to make a play. And this is when, you know, as a young player, you want to get noticed. You want an opportunity to play, and he's done it.
That takes us to the final 15 minutes of the game. After 3 quarters, it's Utah leading at 42-0 over Southern Utah in the season debut. You see the players for Utah holding up 22s. We'll remind you why when we come back. Utah rolling on opening night.
Welcome to Major League Baseball on ESPN Plus. Sign up now.
Welcome to the start of the fourth quarter at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. Utah in control, leading 42-0. Cam Rising had 5 first-half touchdown passes. It's now Isaac Wilson's game. And tonight it has been Dejon Stanley's game. A truly chill bump raising moment between the third and fourth quarters. 22 seconds of noise. Here's Marilyn Payne.
The moment of loudness here at Utah honors Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe, 2 athletes who just 9 months apart were killed in shootings. In 2020, Jordan lost his life on Christmas, and then Lowe on September 25th, who was wearing Jordan's 22 during that 2021 season to celebrate his teammate. Now the number 22 is retired here back on October 30th, 2021. And the Utes invite their fans here in the stadium to stand at the end of the third quarter, use their voices, smile, and live their lives to the fullest in honor of the lives of those 2 Utes, lives lost too soon.
A memory that certainly lives on. Ty Jordan and Aaron Love, both from Mesquite, Texas, high school teammates, gone way too soon, but a really special moment each home game here at Rice-Eccles Stadium is Dadrian Zipperer. See Jordan and Lowe.
It was really an incredible thing also, you know, everyone had their phones out, you know, with the light on them, standing.
The entire Utah football team out at the 50-yard line, facing the student section, facing the video board. Everybody in the stadium holding up 2 fingers on both hands to represent the number 22, a number that, as Marilyn said, has been retired here at the University of Utah.
Southern Utah actually, you know, gave him the same respect, stood also.
Wilson on the run, and he's picked off in the end zone. That one's taken away by Jaden Robertson. He brings it out, and he's dropped short of the 5-yard line. Second interception of the game thrown by Isaac Wilson.
Yeah, that's a young guy just being impatient, you know, not taking the sure shot with the underneath tight end on the crossing route, you know, on the little out route. He wanted to go for the out route up top, you know, for the touchdown. He's going to learn. So you watch down low, a little out route, but you look up top, tried to get it to him, got a little too greedy. Just a learning experience for the young quarterback.
Underthrown a little bit. Caleb Lohner, you mentioned a second ago, the tight end who had released, was open on that shorter pass play.
Take the guaranteed instead of going and, you know, biting them off more than you can chew.
Bronson Barron back into the game at quarterback, gain of 4 on the carry there. Cade Bowering into the game at running back, wearing number 42. It's moved over from the defensive side. Bowering had 7 tackles in 11 games played a year ago. Again on the handoff, trying to get to the outside and nowhere to go. Jonathan Hall, the sophomore from Katy, Texas, former first-team All-State player at Katy High. Had 19 tackles a year ago. Good open field tackle there.
You know, great play, running outside zone to the wing. You had 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the outside, and they tried to get the corner, but the safety came up, undercut the play, was able to stop it on the outside.
Third and 8 for the Thunderbirds, deep in their own territory, and there's movement up front.
False start, offense, number 16. Half the distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
So now 3rd and a little bit longer.
You got to stay disciplined, even at times like this.
Ball at the 3-yard line. Bowering in the backfield. Barron from the shotgun. He's got time, but he fires high, incomplete. You had Kamari Shimwell. Also Rabbit Evans in on that play for Utah in coverage.
Yeah, they had too many guys in one place. You had to stop right by the tight end, and then the running back came, and you know, too many guys in the same area. Somebody's down on the field.
Injured player in a Southern Utah jersey. I think that's Cade Bowering, who is being helped off the field. So Bowering comes off a little bit of assistance. What about this Southern Utah team? I understand that the score is very lopsided at this point, obviously a 42-0 game. But is Delane Fitzgerald, when they go back and watch the tape from this game, is he going to see things that he likes?
He's going to see a lot of stuff that he likes. In fact, you know, the first quarter, going into the second quarter, you know, he established the run game. He established they can move on the starting defense. Had a couple stops, but still, you know, I mean, stuff that he can coach off of.
Shanked punt there, and it's going to be great field position. They're going to spot this ball at the 21-yard line as Utah looks to add to its lead, up 42-0. An 18-yard punt.
You know, turns back around. Nice little out route. Gets to his guy so we can run with it. And then, you know, another freshman mistake. Instead of taking a sure shot with the out route, he tries to go and be greedy, go over the top to the tight end. He's going to learn. He's going to get better as time goes on. But, you know, this is just what it is of being a freshman.
And now a third-year sophomore into the game for Utah. It is Brandon Rose. Rose takes a shot toward the end zone. That ball is caught for a touchdown. Caleb Lohner.
Great back shoulder pass. And that comes with a veteran with a little more touch on the ball and understanding where the ball needs to be placed on the pass when you got somebody covered the way he is. Throw it to the outside shoulder. Lohner's a big target also, so it makes it kind of easier.
All right, I got to admit, I completely screwed that up. It looked like they were going to bring Brandon Rose into the game based on warming up on the sideline. That was a touchdown pass for Isaac Wilson. That was a great throw by Wilson, a great catch by Lohner. You saw the Wilson family standing and clapping for him. That had to feel good.
A veteran pass
for young Isaac Wilson in his debut as a Utah Ute. My apologies. Touchdown.
First a minute, you know, and he showed, you know, a great pass, back shoulder, understanding the target that he had. A bigger tight end and Lohner and back shoulder throw with the tight coverage. That's a great pass by him. It's a veteran pass by the young freshman.
Touchback on the kickoff. Let's take one more look at Isaac Wilson and the touchdown pass he threw just a moment ago.
You know, not a lot of guys would throw this pass because the tight end's actually covered. Lohner is covered, tight coverage. But he gave him the back shoulder. Only he could catch it over there. Big body, kind of blocked him out like a basketball player.
Lohner, by the way, basketball background in his time at Baylor. But that was very much an in-rhythm throw. Catch the snap, 3 steps, hitch, and deliver.
Timing was great on the play.
John up, first one out. First one out.
New quarterback in the game. Jordan Pacho, number 7 for Southern Utah.
Delay the game. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And he didn't get the play off in time. 11:03 remaining. Utah going to start the season 1-0. feel like this is one of those games that coaches like as well. You got the win. There's a lot that you can show your team that was good, but there are also going to be some teaching moments on this film for Utah.
Absolutely. They're going to see things, you know, especially early. And, you know, they're going to see a lot of what these players can actually do. You know, when you're in camp and you're going against each other every single day, you tend to pick up the little idiosyncrasies from the guy you're playing against during camp. Well, now they're playing against different people, and we're seeing how they react to certain situational football. When, you know, what they're going against a guy that may be overpowering them, how they can settle down and go out there and still block them. These are all things that a coach can break down and give a young player or even a veteran player who's trying to take their game to the next level.
Jordan, recount.
Jefferson goes in motion out of the backfield. Pasho trying to escape pressure, and he just throws this one away into the Utah sideline, bringing up 3rd down.
Once again, it's great coverage. You know, it's hard for you to really make some things happen when you're trying to push the ball down the field when nobody's open. I don't care how good the offensive line is. If you're not creating separation with your receivers and tight ends and running backs, it's hard for those guys to block these guys for an elongated period of time. They've got the reserve players in there, and these guys look pretty good also.
Lane Fitzgerald told us if the score got out of hand, he was going to empty his bench, whether it was 2nd-team guys, 3rd-team guys.
Second charge, time out of the half. Southern Utah.
Fitzgerald said that in 3 decades of coaching and being around the game, he's never been
30-second timeout.
A better group of players. He talked about the maturity of this team. He said, we have great kids. This was the best offseason I've been a part of in almost 3 decades of football. He said, our guys have earned the right to play in this game. It's an older team with 26 to 28 returning missionaries. So we've got half a dozen married guys on the team. Handful of our players have kids. It's a very mature team.
That's saying a lot.
After a 6-5 season a year ago, which was the first winning record for Southern Utah since 2017, they have their eyes set on the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, you look at it, you know, they're ranked number 3 in their division right now, in their conference right now. And, you know, it could take a lot from this game, learn a lot from it.
That 2017 team was the last to make the FCS playoffs, 3 all-time. There's another sack for the Utah defense. This time, it's number 98 for the Utes. Dallas Valcali.
We hope we get a better punt coming out. You know, punt has been very shaky this entire game by Southern Utah.
So a couple of good ones, but there have been a couple of tough ones as well. Better punt this time. Fielded at the 45 by Rayshon Glover. He has not been afraid to catch that ball with traffic coming toward him. Utah leading 49-0. Let's take you back to 1964. Utah, the WAC champions. They played in the Liberty Bowl that season, but not the Liberty Bowl that you know today that is in Memphis. Was the beginning of that game played in Atlantic City Boardwalk Hall. Now that's a really cool building. It's hosted about 50 Miss America pageants. It has the largest organ in the world, largest pipe organ in the world. And that's the venue where Mike Tyson had the famous 91-second knockout of Michael Spinks.
All right. It's almost, I would say it's my backyard. It's about maybe 45 minutes from my house. I live in South Jersey. And, you know, it's definitely an exciting place.
It was the 1964 team that won the WAC Conference Championship.
WAC Conference. That's
so look,
long ago, right?
Yeah, joined the WAC in 1962. Took 2 years, but they won the league title with a 9-2 record in that 64 season. They won the Mountain West Conference in the first year that league existed with a 9-3 record in 1999. Joined the Pac-12 in 2011. Took 10 years before they won the league under Kyle Whittingham. But they had back-to-back Pac-12 championships in 2021 and 2022. And now they've got their eyes set on a Big 12 championship in their debut season in their new conference.
They keep playing like this, they can make it pretty close, you know. But, I mean, it's a totally different style of play as opposed to what they're used to right now. And you know, Coach Whittingham, you know, he has this culture and his mindset on how you do things. But I'm anxious to see when they start getting into, you know, Big 12 play, and they play against, you know, the Kansas States, the West Virginias, the UCFs, you know, the physical brand of football they're going to be having, and as far as, you know, lighting it up in the air. How will they deal with that?
Charlie Vincent working his way toward the 45-yard line on first down. How about conference games decided by one score or less? The Big 12 last year, 46.5% of the games played in the Big 12 conference were one-score games. Pac-12 was the next closest at 41%. You see the other three that made up the Power 5 a year ago. A lot of depth in this Big 12 conference, and it certainly has not gotten any easier this year. The addition of Utah, Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado.
You know, Rich, you know, when we look at it, last year we were like week 9, and it was still open as far as who was going to win the Big 12. You know, it was so many games. Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I mean, all these teams were so close as far as wins that you really didn't know who's going to win division.
Holding. Offense. Number 89. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Second down.
That holding penalty erases the run by Dejon Stanley, who has had a really nice game tonight for Utah. In case you need a reminder, Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, the 4 new teams in the Big 12 this year, in addition to the 4 that were added a season ago when BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF joined the Big 12. Back on the ground and a big run here for Hunter Andrews. Broke through the line, looked like he had some open space, and then the Thunderbird defenders crashed down on Hunter Andrews.
They haven't given up. This defense is still trying to play, even though, you know, the numbers are starting to get a little bit tilted as far as, you know, their ability to keep bringing guys in and out. But I tell you what, they are still fighting. They are still showing that they still want to play, and they still want to stay competitive.
Closing in on 6 minutes to play in the season opener. Number 12, Utah, leading at home 49-0. Back on the ground, needed 3 yards for a first down. Not going to get the yardage needed, 1, maybe 2. Going to bring up a 4th down for the Utes. So imagine they would keep it on the ground here.
Yeah, keep it on the ground, try to get the first down. You know, like I said, I was so impressed in the first half when they brought out 12 personnel, just lined up everybody on the line of scrimmage and just came off the ball. Brings a tear to my eye.
Hunter Andrews to the side of Isaac Wilson on the ground. Andrews trying to spin for the first down. Looks like the mark is going to have him short. That's going to be a turnover on downs.
Great play up front. Got penetration, stopped the run play. This is something they can coach on when they head back home. They stopped them on a crucial 4th down in the 4th quarter when everybody else think they should have given up. They stayed out there and were able to give their offense back the ball. This is something they can coach off of. They're not giving up.
Southern Utah back out onto the field. Diko Alefalula into the ball game at running back. He's going to carry it to the outside and take it to midfield. Hard run there for Alefalula.
Stayed in back his shoulder pads and just ran up front, just simple outside zone. New offensive line in. Get a little film, get a little tape.
Gain of 12 yards and a first down into Utah territory. You know this Southern Utah team would love to get some points on the board. Inside 5 minutes to play, trying to avoid the shutdown. This time it's Cameron Athey on the carry.
You know, Coach Fitzgerald's got his guys still out there fighting.
Athey stays in the game as the running back as Utah State breaks the huddle. With Pacho in at quarterback. Quick toss, and Athey gets to the outside. Some hard running by the Thunderbird backup running backs. John Randall on the tackle, John Randall Jr.
Yo, I love the play call on this. They run an outside zone, but they bring the tight end in motion from the backside and have him come out and block the widest defender. And they were able to outflank this Utes defense and get to the outside to keep the chains moving.
Now Ale Falula back in the ball game at running back. Southern Utah will make the trip to El Paso next week to take on UTEP. Pacho Brock dropped. Pressure from the outside that time. John Henry Daly, his defensive end spot, coming in and getting a sack in the season opener, 5th of the game for this Utah defense.
You know, Coach Brunson, he's the quarterback coach. He's the pass game coordinator. He's going to have to dream up some plays, you know, to really take advantage of the receivers on the outside. There's a whole lot of 11 personnel still out there, but maybe you need to take that tight end out, put another receiver in there.
Spread out a little more this time. That pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. Had an open receiver. Pacho did. Kind of running up the seam, but batted down at the line. And so 3rd down here for the Thunderbirds.
You're right, Rich. They're trying to go score. They're trying to make sure they don't get blanked. And, you know, that's big for this team to go out there and keep fighting. Trying to make something happen.
Dumped off, and big hit at the end there. It's Ale Falula on the reception out of the backfield. And a 4th down coming up for Southern Utah.
Field goal team's going out.
We'll see if they can knock that 0 off the scoreboard. Daniel King, the kicker. Transfer from West Virginia. He's got a 48-yard attempt coming.
2-minute timeout.
But first, we get a break. 2-minute timeout. 120 seconds to play here in Salt Lake City. Utes up big.
Since the City Custom Cash Card automatically...
Attempt coming for Daniel King. It's a 48-yard try. Gavin Lipkin is the snapper. Field goal try is on the way, and it's hooking. This is out to the left, and the shutout is still intact. for number 12 Utah this opening night of the college football season. Marilyn Payne is on the sideline. Hey, Marilyn, you want some good news? I'll give you good news when we come back. Minute 53 to play here in Salt Lake City. We're back right after this. First football game for the University of Utah as an official member of the Big 12. And it's a good start to the 2024 season for the Utes, 49-0. Southern Utah tried to knock the goose egg off the board. Couldn't get the field goal to go through. And so Utah back out on the field with the offense. And Brandon Rose into the game, new quarterback. Third quarterback of the night used for the Utes. Hey, Marilyn, I was just going to tell you the good news that I had for you. In the words of Scott Van Pelt, we're all from somewhere, right? North Carolina just kicked a 45-yard field goal to go up 19-17 late fourth quarter.
College kickers, baby! They might not be able to convert here, but they can somewhere.
But Minnesota driving, they may have a chance as well. I might have spoken too soon on the good news. We'll see how it goes.
The good news is that I've always been, we're all from somewhere, right? My high school football team taught me that defense, you know what they do? They win championships. I've always been partial to defense anyway. So let's see if
and the neutral zone, the player reacted.
5-yard penalty
today. Results in the first down.
Offside results in the first down. So you had the run from Brandon Rose and then the offside penalty. Isaac Wilson got to feel good after the touchdown pass, especially with a couple of interceptions. Cam Rising couldn't feel anything but good. A career-high 5 touchdown passes. First time a Utah quarterback has had 5 TD tosses in a game since 2008 when Brian Johnson did it. Brandon
Unbelievable.
Rose.
He did everything today. They should be feeling very comfortable going into this Big 12 conference. I mean, definitely comfortable. He even showed awareness as far as, you know, play action and pushing the ball down the field, and his timing with running backs, timings with tight ends, all that.
About 5 first half touchdowns.
First half, yes.
Yeah, Bryce Young did that in 2022. A knee, and that is going to do it. So a successful start to the season for Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes. The return of Cam Rising after being out of the game for 605 days. A great start to his season. A great start to Brant Keithy's season as well. The outstanding tight end. 3 touchdown catches. A big night for Dijon Stanley.
Huge night for him.
Had a couple of touchdown receptions, was good.